Hello there. We are going to try something new, and I'm going to see how recording myself painting goes. Please forgive my setup. I am very much so new to this. I'm going to try and get this adjusted to where it's not so skewed. And let's get started. So today I'm going to try and draw a beach scene. And of course I left the pencil that I want to use in the other room, but that's okay. I have a different pencil. We'll just go with that. Okay. So I'd like to make a beach scene. I think that I would like for the tide to slightly be coming in like so. And I think I want my horizon about here. I think that I would like to have a rock formation, like island business going on here. And maybe there'll be another like rocks here that we can have some surf like splashing up, and then this will be where that goes. Okay, so I don't know that you can see it very well, but that's okay. That's going to be my basic sketch. So we're gonna start by just wetting the sky, and we're gonna start with the sky. So I do have my palette here, which I'll show it for a second. It is very messy, but this is how I work. And all I did was I kind of prime the paper with plain water, where I'm going to add in my color. I'm going to do, I don't know the color names. I'm sorry. As I get better at recording, maybe I will get better at knowing all of these colors. But I am using mostly my paints from my Shinhan palette, the Shinhan watercolors. I do have a few Daniel Smiths, a few Winsor Newtons, and a few Magello Missions all on this palette. So, okay. So I just want it to be a very muted sky, not too dark at all. And I do want it to fade from a little more saturated towards the top. I'm doing what I think is called a wet and wet technique for doing this, since I wet it first and then I'm allowing all of my colors to kind of blend down. All I'm doing is I'm picking up more of my paint and pigment so that I can darken up the sky along the top, and then I'm allowing the water to just kind of do what it's gonna do. There we go. Leave the sky alone for a minute. All right, next up, let's go ahead and drop in the basic colors of our rocks. I'm going to use a couple of different browns here, maybe a little bit of this yellow ochre as well. I don't have a good way of showing you what colors I'm mixing up together, just because, I don't know, I took some of this one and then I took some of this yellow ochre over here. I mixed a little bit here and then decided I may want it a little darker, and I mixed it over here. Okay. So I'm just going to use this to basically block out this rock right here. And, you know, I should leave a little bit of white areas for a little bit of a highlight here and there. So I'm just going to do that. Maybe I extend that a little bit. We'll do the same for this one. I'm going to leave just a few lighter areas here and there for some dimension and in our rock formation. I'm also going to add a little here and here. Anywhere where we leave some white, it's going to look like it's surf, like splashing up against the rock. Okay. And then let's go ahead and get this sandy beach going on. I'm going to mostly use some yellow ochre and a little bit of that rock color to just kind of get started with my beach here. And I'm just going to kind of gently nudge it in. Now I am going to I'm going to come right up here next to the edge of where I kind of drew the water. I'm kind of doing a little bit of a stipple technique. I need to come over here before that makes a harsh line. I'm going to stipple so that I do not have a straight line per se. I really do want there to be some white in here. So I'm going to make sure that this edge is not solid. I will go in and make a little darker of a sand color in a little bit, but in the interim, I'm just going to pop in here with a little bit more saturation, and I'm just going to add a little bit of darker zones here and there for my beach. All right, and then because I do want to layer, I'm going to leave that alone. I'm going to leave that alone for now. Is this focused? I hope so. Okay. Next, let's work on the ocean. Now, the closer we get to our horizon, I do want it to be a little darker, and then the closer we get in, it's going to be a lot lighter. And then, like all in here where there's going to be rock, there's going to be a little bit of kind of a brown color because you would see the sand through the water, you know, like when you're looking down through it. So let's go ahead and do the darkness of the ocean. I want to make a little bit of like Payne's gray. I'm going to use some Payne's gray. I'm going to mix it with some ultramarine blue, and then I'm going to water it down. I'm going to see what that looks like. If I don't like it, I can always go back in with a little more ultramarine blue, but I do want to have kind of a darker horizon line. Okay, that's a little too light, but that's okay. I can always like darken it up. Just kind of go around my rocks. I'm going to come in here. I want there to be like there is surf or something going up on those rocks. So I don't want that to be completely solid blue all the way through there. I'm going to also like dash in this line here so that it's not solid. Okay, and I'm going to do this. Then we're going to start dashing. Okay, there's going to be like waves coming up right here. So I don't want that too bright. We are going to have more blue in here. I'm going to make this less bright. It's going to be some blue all throughout here. We're going to stipple that in. All right, maybe some blue there. All right, I think I'm going to leave most of that white. Let's go back in with a little bit more ultramarine back here and make that a little darker. Add a little more pigment than water. I'm not going to add any more gray. It's starting to look a little too muted. I may add in, what's this other one? It's not ultramarine. It's called, I don't remember. I'll try and look it up maybe. Like I said, we're learning how to record. Apologies, quality's not that great. But that's how it goes sometimes when you're learning. Okay, so if I've got surf coming up here, it's actually going to be darkest right up underneath, like where the splash is coming down, right? It's going to be darker because it's making a shadow under there, right? So if I do that, and then if I've got surf coming this way, and then it's all splashing up and over, I'm going to have like little bits of blue showing through as the white splashes up. And then that blue would be like in there. Right. Then I can come over here, and then I would have, let's see. Then I would have maybe some blue in here, like so. All that is splashing right along the edge, I think, this leading edge, because now this would be up underneath that. I would have some darker blue, and then I need to fade that out into the white and just kind of splash that in. Let's make this less stark. Okay, and then let's see. So that's all coming in and through. All right, I feel like this is too white. I feel like it needs a little, maybe it's reflecting the sky some as that water comes up and splashes. So we'll use kind of some of that sky color to just dab in there. I feel like I got too much water. I'm gonna dry that off a bit. Okay. Sure, that looks pretty good. Okay, we're gonna come in here and start adding in some darker of these brown colors. You'll notice if you see a lot of my artwork, I tend to do a lot of stuff, but lately when I've been really into the nature scenes, I've been doing a lot more browns and blues to create what I'm seeing, and that's because I've been doing a lot more beaches and rocks. And you know why? Because I've visited more beaches and rocky places lately, and that's what's been inspiring me. So yeah, so that's what's showing up in my art right now. I am making this kind of beach line a little bit darker, and I'm stippling it on rather than necessarily dragging the brush right there along the edge. And then I am going to come in here and add in some darker areas on the beach where maybe there's some dunes or some rocks or something. And then I'm also going to come in here and start adding some darker zones to my my rock formations that I've got going on. So make it a little darker in here. All along this bottom, make it a little darker, and I'm gonna gradually get pretty dark with my colors, but I don't want this to be an even wash because rocks are jagged and they have a lot of texture. So I'm going to come in, I'm going to add more darkness. So how I'm going to do that, I'm going to add a little Payne's gray to that brown I was using earlier, and then that's going to give me a really nice darker color that I can use. And we're going to come in here and we're going to do this like so. Maybe there's like a little bit of a cliff rockiness going on, like in this zone, like this. And then maybe this ridge comes like this. We can have it dark all along this edge, like so. Maybe this needs to be faded more. Not loving that. We'll check on it here in a minute. We are going to go ahead and do this one. I'm going to be darker up along where I left that white. Dark in here. A little darker right in here. Pieces of that showing through. We'll call that good. I'm using a clean, dry brush to blend this out because I was not liking some of those harsh lines. We're gonna call that okay for now. I don't know that I'm liking this highlight. It's not giving me the vibes I was hoping for. That's okay. All right, so it's kind of splashing here. I feel like I need to go ahead and add some of this tan in the water so that it looks like we've got some of the beach coming through within the water, like so. Just right here right here where it's closest in to our beach. We're just adding just a little bit so that it looks like the water is shallower there. as the blue and the yellow kind of mix, it'll make it look a little on the green side, and that's okay. And let's see, we're gonna go ahead and darken up more pieces of this beach right here at the base, like where the water is coming and it's like up underneath the water, it's making a shadow line. We can think of it that way, maybe. I don't know. That's what it looks like to me when I look at photos of the beach. Looks like it has like a little line of darkness. Okay. Just gonna add some more of this in here. Fade some of that out. Okay. Let's see, does that look like it's all rolling in like it should be? Perhaps. I feel like this right here, as it goes up underneath this wave that's coming in, I feel like that needs to be darker. So let's, oh, it's called Prussian blue, I think. All right, we're gonna mix some of this Prussian blue with this ultramarine and see if we can get a nice, vibrant, darker blue color to add right up underneath. Oh yeah, that looks really pretty. Okay, that's nice and dark, and that's great. That's what I want. And then I also want to add some dark little patches of dark within this splash zone here. And then right up underneath this splash zone here as well. I'm gonna add some dark, and you know what? As I'm adding this, I'm really realizing it's looking a little out of place unless I put it in the rest of the ocean too. So that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna go ahead and cover that. Do some dabbing in, soften that blend line, and then maybe it'll look a little bit more cohesive. Yeah, that looks better. That looks better blended. Okay, so we have that. We have this coming, this splash. This is rolling in. This is all settling kind of near the beach. Still not loving this right here. It doesn't quite look like it's splashing up on that rock. Maybe I got my line too sharp. Maybe that rock's not dark enough. Let's go darker. Let's add a little bit more gray with our brown. And let's see, maybe I should put a little purple in there. The only thing is the purple has a little bit of red in it, and I don't know that I want any reddish tones. I think that would make it too warm. So let's do this. Let's see. We're going to do this and darken up this rock a little bit more. And then let's also darken this rock all up underneath that highlight, right along where it goes in the water here, where it goes in the water here. Oops, went too high. That's okay. Okay, maybe that looks better. I don't know that I love that rock either. Okay, maybe I got it too dark right here. Can I blend that? Or is it just gonna look stupid? Okay, maybe if we just leave it alone, it'll be fine. We're gonna leave it alone. And yeah, let's see. I don't know. It's feeling a little stark. It's feeling a little bland. Maybe I do need to pull in some reds. Maybe I don't. Maybe I need to just stop. You know what? I'm going to add just a little bit more to the beach. I feel like the beach sand needs a little more texture. Maybe that'll help. Maybe there needs to be like a bird. Should we put a bird in the sky? You know what? I think I'm gonna not try this with a number 12 brush. Let's try it with, let's get a smaller brush here. And all right, we're gonna do black with a little bit of blue, a little more black, a little more blue. Let's see, let's Let's make some birds flying. We're just going to do that classic, like birds flying in the sky. There's some seagulls. All right. Do I like what that did or do I hate it? All right. Well, you know what? Somehow and sometimes that's just how art goes. I'm going to say that it's good and we're going to call that done. Is it dry down here? We're going to go ahead and sign our names in that same seagull bluish black color. Go ahead and sign this here. $25. All right. I hope you all have a wonderful and blessed day. Until next time.